Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Momentum Chat. I am Ajita Bay.
And I'm John Epstein.
And today we are going to be talking about money. All right. April is Financial Literacy Month. And last week we talked about money and time, two of your greatest assets, right? Money being your greatest financial asset, or income being your greatest financial asset, and time being your greatest asset, period, and how those two work together in order for you to be able to build wealth. So our focus this month is on the wealth formula. And so stay tuned. We will be getting into it in just a few minutes.
Yep.
Good evening, John. Good evening. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing incredible.
Awesome. Awesome. How was your week?
It's going good so far. Got to help some people already, and oh man, I just get high teaching this stuff. So it's
Yeah.
really good. I had an appointment right before this talk, so actually somebody you know.
Okay.
It was really fun, and we got to have a heart to heart conversation in reference to there's two men, so it was really cool to have a chat and clear the air on some things and make sure we both understand some things. And I get a lot out of those talks as well. A lot of times they think it's just me giving, but I'm getting a lot as well, because you can learn how people think, based off of where they're coming from and stuff. So really fun. How about you? How's your day?
It's been good. It's definitely been good. Helping, just helping families. I think accountability, right? Mentor of ours always says accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. And so I love being accountable. So I have my morning accountability call. I have bi-weekly accountability calls. I have bi-monthly accountability calls. I have a family accountability call. So it's like all of this accountability is definitely pushing me to continue to do what it is that I'm doing, continue to grow. And so, I've been able to help a few families in different states over the past few weeks, as well as grow personally, with my business, getting some direction, getting some guidance on ways that I can improve with this, right? What we're doing today, marketing and branding and all that stuff. So
Right.
I'm having a good time, just growing, right? Like I thrive when I'm in an environment where I'm growing and I'm able to get better so that we can add more value. So that's been my week.
Yeah. Well, they say progress is happiness.
I like that.
You're progressing. You're probably pretty happy. You're probably right. It may not be happening as fast as you would like, but you do need to slow down and make sure you're enjoying the process, enjoying the journey. Right. I don't really have a destination, if you will. I have some goals. I have some dreams I want to hit. But even as I get close to them, I'm setting new ones. So, and I remember not doing that before. I remember actually getting close to a dream, then hitting it. And then I stagnated for a couple of years because I didn't have a new one I had set ahead of time. So super important that you're always looking to be the best version of yourself. My mom and I had a talk about that today, and what we would like to see when we get to heaven and see our Heavenly Father. The type of talk we get to have with him. So interesting conversation to be able to have that with your mother.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I was actually interested that you speak about happiness, because I read something recently. I don't know it verbatim, but they said that we should seek peace, right? That like God offers us peace. And when you have peace, right, like then you have happiness, right? But I like the idea too of make progress. I know progress makes me happy. But when you seek happiness, sometimes it can be kind of this never ending thing. Like you're never happy because you're looking for a specific thing. But when you seek peace, right, like peace of mind is on my vision board, right? Like that's something I have to have. And so that's cool. That's cool. Good stuff. So let's get into it. All right. Financial Literacy Month. We're bringing some insight today about money, right? And so I'm going to just recap. I'm going to share for those who may not have been with us last week.
Yeah.
We talked about the wealth formula. So I'm going to pull that up just as a reminder.
As a
They
reference.
didn't get a chance to see that. All
No, it was
right.
fun. It was fun talking about the wealth formula last week. But
Absolutely.
also dreaming a little bit, getting people to dream and
Yes.
create that space in their mind that you can actually do this. You can actually make things happen bigger than you probably thought. And just how easy it is to make, get to even no matter what income you make or where you come from, how easy it is to get to $1 million, to get to $1 million income. So, or $1 million saved or invested.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, so share with us real quick, John, just as you said, a reference reminder of the wealth formula. For those who may not have seen it last week, just give
Right.
us the formula again today.
Cool. So it starts with money, right? And of course, we all need money. And some people, I'm always concerned about people who say, "Oh, money's not that important." Money's like right up there next to oxygen. So, and if money wasn't so important, you wouldn't get up to go to a job you hate and work with people you don't like, right? Money's important, right? But it's only important in the area in which it's important.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a big part of our lives. My youngest daughter was sick, and before she passed away, money was not that important. But believe it or not, money was important because it allowed us to be there. Because we had built a business. We didn't have to, my wife never had to leave that hospital for 50 days. And for the 7 weeks my daughter was in the hospital. So it is important. So it starts with money, but then time. Time is important. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes, right. The sooner you start, the better. That's one of the things I was telling the young man, who's not so young anymore, but he is still young, especially compared to me. But that's what I was telling the young man. The sooner you start, the better, right? So time can be your enemy or your ally. Remember that. Time can be
Yeah.
your enemy or your ally. It all depends on how fast you move. And then the next thing is plus or minus rate of return. Plus or minus rate of return. You do have to pay attention to what your money's doing. One of the things I noticed, I always used to hear this coming up. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. But here's the deal. The only difference between rich people and poor people is the way they think. Rich people believe in having money to work for them. Everybody else works for money. Which means the second those people stop working, no more money. So super important that we know that. Is plus or minus rate of return. What is your money doing? Is it earning money or are you losing money? And we'll talk more about that in a minute. This is going to be really good. And then, of course, the two enemies of our money, you got to add that into the equation. Inflation, which is the buying power of your dollar. How much is $100 really worth, right? So $100 isn't worth what it was 20 years ago. Very simple. Probably not worth the same as a year ago. But that's inflation, right? The cost of things are going up, and I project, I assume, and with very good knowledge of my background, that the cost of things are going to go up quite dramatically, probably over these next 24 to 36 months. You're going to start feeling it within 18 months, maybe even sooner.
Yeah.
But the cost of things is going to have to go up. Our country's been printing money, basically. Nothing's backing it, and we're just signing stimulus packages and so forth and so on. So inflation is getting ready to jump. And then taxes, which is going to be another thing that's going to go up, right? So those are the two enemies of our money. So you take your money plus time, and I'm not talking about timing. I'm talking about time in. Time in, plus or minus rate of return. Hopefully you're getting a great rate of return. Your money's outpacing inflation and you're minimizing taxation. That will equal your wealth, what your wealth will actually look like. And that's what we talked about last week. And I tried to show people a picture of that when we talked about the high cost of waiting. Like, why is procrastination, not procrastinating, so important? It's procrastination always costs more. So
absolutely.
But that's the wealth formula, guys. You should write that down. You should tattoo it on you or something. Keep that stuff in mind. But having this little bit of knowledge can help you start knowing how to move and where to move to.
Yeah. And I'm really excited about, the two enemies of money that you mentioned. We're going to be talking about those over the next couple of weeks. And so
Yes.
it's like knowing that those things are going to be increasing over the next 24 to 36 months, as you mentioned. What are you doing with what you can control, right? We can't control inflation. We can't control taxes, right? Maybe we can control how much we pay in taxes, but we can't control whether they go up or not. But
True.
if we can control what we can control in terms of the money, the time in, and what our money's doing, we can prepare ourselves so that inflation and taxes don't affect our
For sure.
financial outcome as much. So that's good stuff. So write that down. Make sure that you know it in and out. And when you're talking to a professional like ourselves, or you're seeking advice, right? Some people like to go to their bank. Hey, make sure you have some questions. I love what you always share. In what we do, we help people figure out where to start, what questions to ask, and who to trust. And so by
Yep.
having just this little bit of information can help a person be more informed about the decisions they can make with their money. So
Yep.
thanks so much for that recap, John. So let's
Nope.
get into this week's topic, which is interest, right? I titled it, "How much money is your money making?" And I
Yeah.
love how you reference that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because rich people get money to work for them, whereas poor people often work for money. And that shift, right? Like that, I think for me, when I met you, was like the shift that helped me to like start to get the wheels turning. Like, wait a minute, like I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to work for money. Money's supposed to work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've been on this journey is how can I get more money working for me, right? Through different investments or business or whatever, right? Like, let me put money to work. Let me stop chasing paper, right? Like I like to say.
Yep.
And so today we're going to share with you a concept, right? Some may be familiar with it, some may have never heard it. And that concept is the formula for compound interest. And
Yes.
so I'm going to share my screen again. Let me pull this back up. And
I'll say this as you're pulling that up. When we say getting money to work for you, most people, I think what they miss is the fact that, um, money can be a much better employee than you.
oh, absolutely.
You know what I notice about money when as it's working for me? It doesn't need any time off.
Mm.
It doesn't get sick. Doesn't call in sick. Don't give attitude. It just works.
It doesn't need PTO.
No, absolutely not. And I remember learning this concept on a napkin in Taco Bell back in the year 2000. So we're
Mm.
talking about 21 years ago now. And
Wow.
at the time, I was a naval accountant. So I was a naval accountant, doing pretty well, moved up rank pretty good, and I engulfed myself in the career. So I got to learn it at a different level than a lot of people. Um, so I was having fun what I was doing. But the funny thing was, I never learned this concept until a young man introduced me to another young man. We met at a Taco Bell on our lunch break, and a guy broke this concept down to me, right? And in school, you might hear of it as compound interest or the magic of compound interest, um, also known as the rule of 72. And you can Google that. I remember years ago when he showed that to me, I thought he was scamming me. Right?
Mm.
Most middle class poor people think everything is a scam anyway. So I was one of them, and I remember thinking, scam, which is so funny, right? If I'm poor middle class, why would anybody scam me? Right? I don't have anything, but 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 that's just how I thought, right? And it probably some people listening in right now who think the same way. Everything's a scam. And, no, just because you haven't heard of something doesn't make it a scam.
All
That
right.
just means you haven't heard of it. It just means you were ignorant to that particular situation, or that particular concept. But I remember learning it, and he wrote it on the back of his business card. I'll never forget this. He wrote it on the back of his business card. I was in my naval uniform. I put it in my pocket, went back to work. And I remember typing in the rule of 72 into MSN, right? So mind you, Google wasn't even out yet. And I remember typing it in and how many websites came up. And I read an entire website that night. And what the rule of 72 is, and some people give Albert Einstein credit for the mathematical equation of it, but it basically said if you took the number 72 and you divided your rate of return, your interest rate, into 72. So if your money's in a bank, CD, savings account, money market, mutual fund, stock, ETF, whatever it's in, whatever interest rate it's earning you. So if it's earning you 1, 2, 8, 12, 36%. Matter of fact, we were talking earlier, right? There's people in certain, I guess you would say company savings plans and stuff like that, which are tied to normally mutual funds and stuff like that. Some of them things did over 56%, 90% last year, right? So here we are. We're in a pandemic. Everybody thinks because we're in a pandemic, everybody's doing bad. Matter of fact, if you listen to CNN, Fox, MSNBC, CNBC, they'll make you think the world is falling apart and the sky is falling, right? Chicken Little, right? Here's the facts. Here's the facts. And as a matter of fact, Majid, I might have you even show this, right? So people know I'm telling the truth. Not yet, but, don't show them yet. Don't show them yet. They ain't earned it yet, right? But hey, here's the facts. Some funds did 97% last year. Rolling 12 months, last 12 months. So from as I'm talking to go back 12 months, and mind you, we're in the height of the pandemic 12 months ago from where I'm talking.
Yeah.
Right? Stock market started dropping, all kind of stuff people start freaking out. There's funds that did 56% and 97%.
Wow.
In 1 year. You had $100,000 in your 401k TSP, 12 months, 197,000.
Wow.
Yeah, not joking either, right? So take the number 72, divide your rate of return, your interest rate, into 72, whatever that is, 1%, 12%, right? So the average bank is paying less than 1%, but we'll say 1. How many times does 1 go into 72? 72 times. Yeah, it would take 72 years for $100 to turn into $200, $1,000 to turn to $2,000, $10,000 to turn to $20,000, sitting in a savings account earning 1%. Are you willing to wait? Right? At my age today, I don't think I have that time. I just don't think I'm gonna still be here. Right? I'll already be over 120. So it's not gonna work, right? But that's how it works. So 72 divided your rate of return equals the number of years it takes for your money to double in that account. And this works in the reverse too, right? Your banks, your credit card companies are using the rule of 72 against you.
Yep.
Right? Especially if you're paying the minimum. Right? They love you. You're the person that pay the minimum. Right? Because you end up paying for it 3-4 times, right? Even a mortgage, right? Even though mortgage rates are super low right now. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like free money almost. Right? Yeah. So you need to know that. It's important that you know that. So let's play with it a little bit, right? So, Vegeta, you're 29 today. You find a 4% account, right? So, Vegeta, give it to me. 4%. You find a 4% account. 4 goes into 72 18 times. Every 18 years, money would double sitting in a 4% account.
Yep.
So if you're 29 today with $10,000, you don't need 10,000, but let's act like you got it, right? Actually, you got it, but right. So who the people who I'm talking to, right? I don't know their financial situation, right? So let's say you don't even have it, but you find $10,000. You stick it in a 4% account. Don't touch it. Don't add any more. Every 18 years, it would double. So if you're 29 today, by the time you're 65, that money's doubled twice because there was 2 18-year periods in there. By the time you're 65, you got $40,000. That ain't bad. I mean,
better than water.
Absolutely, it's a heck of a lot better than what one was doing because, I mean, you can't retire on $40,000, but it's a lot better than what 1% would have been doing. But check this out. What if Majida doubled her interest? Now, see, here's the funny thing. Most people think if I double my interest, I double my money. That's not how compound interest works. See, it's not just your money earning interest. It's also the interest earning interest. Yeah. So it's not just your money making money. It's your money making money making money.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah. It's your money making money making money. And that's sexy right there, right? So instead of 8%, instead of 4%, you're earning 8%. And most people think I would double it. Nope. You quadrupled that money in the same period of time, because 8 goes into 72 9 times, twice as fast. Now, what if you actually found a place to earn 12? 12 going to 72, 6 times. Every 6 years, money would double. Now, stay with me here for a second. You were in a 4% account, and instead of you doing the 4%, you found a 12% account or an 8% account. You didn't change the money. You changed what you did with the money.
Right.
And that's a very important rule in life. Most people think it's about how much you make. It's never has been about what you make. It's about what you do with what you make. But then it's about how much you keep. You don't do the right things, you're going to pay taxes. That's another day. We're going to do that later this month, right? Do we have a particular Tuesday we're going to hit the tax part?
Yeah, right? Yeah, that'll be the last. That'll be the last
Everybody
Tuesday.
Wants to tune in for that one, okay? Actually, that's going to be worth all the other ones, right? But yes, that's a big deal. It's never, listen, I was in the United States Navy, right? At my rank, all the people at my rank, give or take a few special pays or something like that, we all make about the same amount of money. Some of them lived a better life than me. Some of them live a worse life than me. The number was the same. The difference is what we did with it. Right? That's so good. It's not about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you make. And then how much do you get to keep? Okay? So at 12%, instead of 4, you put it in 12. 12 going to 72 6 times. Every 6 years, money would double just sitting there. Without you touch, you put 10,000 one time. Didn't touch it, didn't add no more. It doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled. And next thing you know, at 65 years old, you got $640,000. Is that a big difference in money?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where would you rather put your money? Take your time. I sound like an idiot even asking. But here's the facts. Most of the people we know, they're not doing that, are they?
Nope.
Now, you just said something earlier, right? And this was me 21 years ago, right? Why I believe, and I made a lot of money in my 20s. I did a lot of stuff, not just the military, but I always had some side hustles and stuff like that, right? So I want you to think about this, right? Why don't people do better financially? And you alluded to it. You heard me say it so many times over my life with you, right? 1, people don't know where to start. 2, people don't know what questions to ask. And 3, they don't know who they can trust. Hopefully, me sharing this at least got your brain moving. Then now you got some questions. Because there's a lot of people don't even know that. They don't even know 12 exists. Matter of fact, it might be some people listening in right now thinking to themselves, there ain't no place to get 12%. That's because you're thinking about your bank. Here's the fact. Wealthy people don't do banks like that for real. They're investing their money. They're not saving it. They're investing it. There's a huge difference. And you got to know that, right? There's a big difference, right? So if you're thinking you're going to walk into your bank, you're getting 12%. And don't get me wrong, there's some banks giving some people 12%. Those are some specific type of people, though.
Yep.
You understand? Yeah. When you got a certain amount of money in the banks, yeah, you actually don't get the same rates as everybody else. You get to negotiate. Also, you don't stand in line, right? Listen to me. It's a different world, right? People, they treat you different. They know you by name when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so trust me. Right?
I got to tell a little bit. I got to tell a quick story because a podcast that I listened to, one of the gentlemen on that podcast, they joke him all the time because he's done very well for himself financially. You know, at age 22, he got started in real estate as a police officer. They call him the 9-to-5 millionaire. He got started in real estate as a police officer.
Oh, you're talking about my man in Chicago?
Yes. Yes. Jamal King. Yep.
Jamal King.
Yep. But they joke on, there was this podcast episode where one of the guys was with him and overheard a conversation where his bank called him, his local bank called him where he had his money. I think it was like Chase Bank, and basically told him that like they couldn't handle his money anymore. Like he had to deal with somebody at the corporate level, um, because he had too much money in that particular bank. So I just found that kind of interesting. Like you said, when you have leverage, right? When you have wealth, you're able to get different treatment. You're able to get different options in terms of what your money does for you. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Everybody listen, and don't take this stuff personal. You got to get educated. You got to get knowledgeable so you just know how to move from it. You know how to work it within your life, if you will, right? So never get upset with the employers or the jobs or the country or the government or it. No, just know how they work, know their game, and then know how to maneuver through it, right? That's just how it is, right? Even with banks, some of us are assets to the bank and some of us are liabilities to the bank. That's just the facts. Now you got to ask yourself, which one are you? Right now, as you're sitting here, as I'm speaking, which one are you right this moment? And then it's up to you which direction you can take that. Right? But you getting emotional, getting upset about it doesn't change anything. Right? But you getting educated, changing some habits, right? Developing some disciplines so they can create a habit. Oh man, life looks different. Matter of fact, Majida, I was just talking to you because I just had another client on a call like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you pull up to them right now on this screen what I pulled up to him?
Okay.
And he didn't even know. He didn't even know.
Can you
Check
see
that
that?
out. Some of y'all pause. Some of y'all, yeah, take a breather. Matter of fact, go all the way up to the top. Let's show the top so people know what this is. This is the thrift savings plan. This is the thrift savings plan, people. Listen, this isn't some product I sell or market. I can't. It's the government's 401k. That's what it is. Okay, so I ain't trying to put one over on you or nothing, right? This is the government's 401k. So if you're a federal employee, right, FERS or CSRS, you have access to this. If you're military, uniform services, you have access to it, right? Now I want you to think about it. I'm getting ready to show you numbers of what the government's plan is doing. So if you're not with the government and your company offers a 401k of some sort or some type of plan like that, they're not that great of plans, but they offer something like that, I'm willing to bet your plan has numbers such as. So can you go down a little bit, Majida? Go down, because I'm getting ready to mess with them. They getting ready to be mad. They don't even know. They getting ready to be mad. Yeah. Stay. Now clear that top part. We don't need to see that those little check marks and stuff. There you go.
Okay.
Right. You got me? Stay right there. Right there. Stay right there. Right. See where it says last 12 months, people? Y'all see where it says last 12 months? Look at that line right there. Right? Last 12 months, right? So I'll explain this. They have some funds to choose from, just like your 401k. They have some funds to choose from. In this one, they got a bunch of L funds. We call them lifestyle funds or life cycle funds, right? 2030, 2050, 2055, 2010. You're right, that type of deal, right? 2010 doesn't exist anymore. Don't listen to me, right? I mean, we're past 2010, so that fund doesn't exist, right? But 2025, 20L, right? Okay. The L income, right? But then they also have the general funds, GSCSI, right? GFCSI. Okay. I want you to look at this thing right here. Last 12 months, the one Majida has highlighted, the G fund. Unfortunately, we had people that probably still had money sitting in the G fund last year. It did 0.83 last rolling 12 months. The F fund did 0.77. But check this out, right? The C fund did 56%, and this is the one that tracks the S&P 500. 56%. Matter of fact, it shows you right there that even the S&P 500 last rolling 12 months did 56%. Isn't that something?
That's awesome.
Isn't that something? Now for the year, let's go. There's down there it says 2020. For the year, the C fund did 1831, 18.31 for the year of 2020. But rolling last 12, 56%, tracking the S&P 500. I'm not done. Look at this, right? Some of y'all should be sharing this video. Y'all should definitely be sending me business. Y'all should be sending Majida business. I ain't playing now. Listen, some of y'all missed out, right? Side note, even some of my own clients missed out because they didn't listen to me. They saw the market start going down. Oh my God, I gotta move it, right? COVID, right? And didn't move it, didn't do what I asked them to do. Look at this. The S fund, rolling 12, 97.97%. Mind you, I don't make any money teaching this. I don't make any money helping you select this in your TSP. 97%. The Dow Jones last rolling 12, 97.84. 97. Because the Dow Jones tracks the S&P. And then even the iFund did 44%. 44 ain't bad. So for all the people, it's like 12 don't exist. Can't nobody get 12. You don't listen to me. I mean, it's right here. I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, what you want me to do? And if you could go down further, I mean, don't go down, but look at the year 2019. 2019. 2019, the C fund did 31%.
Yeah.
The S fund did 27. The I fund did 22. You telling me this don't exist? Matter of fact, if I go back and track the last 10 years of this, just these, right? It's only been 3 down years. But you have positive years like that, and it's a bunch of people missing out on it because you're scared. And it reminds me of a scripture in the parable of the talents, right? The servant who hid the money and didn't do nothing with it, didn't do nothing to grow it, to double it, to multiply it, right? They were called wicked. They were called wicked and lazy because of their fear. I just wanted to throw that out there. Y'all do with that what y'all want to. It's okay.
Oh, that's good.
This is good stuff. When you can become dangerous if you learn this stuff and then actually know how to apply it and find somebody who you could trust to kind of navigate you through it. You could become dangerous. You could become dangerous, not just for you, but you could become dangerous for your family. You could, and I'm talking about dangerous in a good way.
Yeah.
I'm talking about totally changing your family's legacy if they come aboard with you. Here's the bad thing about family, and I might have family probably listening to this. I believe God gave you family to prepare you for your enemies. It's just my belief, right? Nobody can frustrate you like the people you love. That people you love, right? So if you can make it through your family, can't nobody else out here do nothing to you because you don't care. Right? So sometimes even your family will hold you back from doing better. But man, life can be sweet if you learn this stuff. Okay, get that off the screen because that's just TSP.
Yeah.
Right? But can you imagine if people could learn the rule of 72, know how to apply it? Oh my God.
It was a game changer for me. I might have shared this before, but when I learned that formula, what is it, 2000? So 12 years ago now, right? When you first showed me that formula, I'm sitting in your office, you explain that concept to me. I remember responding, John, I need you to show that to my parents because I knew if I didn't know, they didn't know because they would have taught me, right? Like It just simple, right? And that's one of the things that we talked about last week was that financial literacy, right? That's the month that we're in. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be difficult. It's something that any and everybody can learn. And we can apply this information to improve where we are, right? Absolutely. It doesn't mean everybody can be Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, right? Like you don't have to necessarily, but you can live a fulfilling life by applying these same principles, by thinking like the wealthy think and doing what the wealthy do to get the results that the wealthy get. And so it was like, man, John, I need my family to know this, right? Because we're missing out, right? we're losing out. Our family was being left behind, like we talk about. And so it changed everything, because I'm like, all right, I need to be conscious of how much my money's working for me, right? Like wherever I have it, right? Is it working for me, or is it working for the bank, right? Am I putting my money in the bank and then they're loaning it to Jamal to go invest in real estate, right? Like, is that what I'm doing? No. And so, and sometimes we have such an attachment to money, right? Like we want to hold on to what we have. And they've talked about that, I think, on the podcast, right? So we're so often focused on holding on to what we have instead of growing and multiplying and getting more. We have that fear of losing what we have. But it's like sometimes you lose, sometimes you learn, right? Like you got to learn through the process of taking those risks. Yep. And so, can you share real quick, as we wrap up here, the different options for your money, right? So people are like, okay, all right, where can I find 10, 12%, right? Well, I don't like the banks. Well, people have some questions now, I'm sure. So can you share the different options for your money? Like where can you put your money and how is that impacted?
Okay. Of course, there's a lot of options for your money. A lot of options. I don't want to get detailed on this talk. I mean, we're already short on time. Yeah. I could dive into so many different things, like I did with the young man that was on a little bit ago. Let me be simple. Let's be simple, right? So I know on this thing you have here, I'll break it down like this. There's fixed type of accounts. Fixed are your savings account. They're going to give you a guaranteed rate of return. It's going to be low, right? You got to remember, anytime somebody's giving you something, they're making more than that, right? And hey, no matter what endeavor we're talking about, right? And don't be mad about that, because they have to. For example, if a bank is giving you 3%, I'm going to say 4%, right? They have to make more than that to give you the 4. It's just math.
Yeah.
Right? And some people get so upset about that. No, if they're guaranteeing you something, guarantee they have to make more than that just to pay you. Right? And that's just how fixed works. So they give you a guarantee 1, 2, 3%, whatever it is, right? That's what you get. No more, no less. That's just how it is. Okay. And nothing wrong with that, right? I believe people should have money in accounts like that, right? I guess I'm old school, right? In the sense of that financial knowledge there. I believe in emergency funds. I believe in people having some cash on hand, and in case something happens, in case something go down, it ain't earning a bunch of interest, right? But it's there, right?
Yeah.
What I say last week, Murphy's Law, whatever can go wrong will go wrong, right? So having money like that is super important. I remember a time I didn't believe in extended warranties on cars and stuff like that, right? I drive a luxury car now, and I realize these cars are computers, right? And computers break down all the time, right?
Yeah.
And my car, it's getting up there now. It's a 2014. So, man, something just recently happened, and thank God they talked me into an extended warranty. And oh my gosh, what it cost the warranty company to pay for that? My warranty paid for itself 5 times just in that one transaction. Wow. 5 times. Yeah, because the work on the car alone was $13,000. And I didn't pay close to that for the warranty. So I happily gave them the $100 deductible, right? But why do I say that? That's part of that fixed stuff. That's part of having kind of a safety net, if you will. Call it your fixed is the safety net. The second is variable, right? At least I hope it is for your screen. Okay, cool. Right? So the second one is variable. Variable is the stock market, ETFs, right? Stock, mutual funds, that stuff that's going to go up and down. Stuff in your 401k, that thrift savings plan. As you saw when Majida had the thrift savings plans on the screen, it had fluctuations, right? Yeah, last 12 rolling, 97%, and that's fun. But that's not what it was the year prior and the year before that, right? So it fluctuates. It goes up and down, right? It's gambling, if you will, right? And you just got to know how to take calculated risks. That's what rich people do. They take calculated risks. They pay attention. They have some. Actually, let me be honest. Most rich people don't know this stuff either. They hire guys like me. They hire people like Majida to pay attention to this stuff because they're out building their thing, whatever their thing is. They're out doing that, right? You should always have a professional to do what they do, and you do what you do, right? So this is what I do, so that's why I know this stuff. So, but that's how variable stuff works. It goes up and down. You got to pay attention. Now, and most people are always trying to time the market, right? And there's some lucky people out there, but not many of them. Very few, in all honesty, right? And that's why I was talking about time in last week, right?
Yeah.
I'll just share this, right? Some extra stuff for the people who are listening. Pay attention to dollar cost averaging. If you're listening to me right now, right? Google that, right? Dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging. And basically what it is you save and invest every month, right? And if you're investing in exchange traded funds or stock or mutual funds or whatever the case may be, and you're buying shares, right? Every month, if you're investing $1,000 a month, or let me bring it down, $100 a month, or whoever I'm talking to, right? If you're investing $1,000 a month and the shares are $10 a share, you bought a number of shares, didn't you? But the next month, the value of the shares might be different at $15, or it might be $5, right? Then you bought more shares. But over time, right? Time in, right? If you're investing that same amount of money every month, every year, whatever the case may be, dollar cost will be averaged out. You almost win every time, right? Actually, it's almost no times in history, right? Especially over long periods of time. The longer the period, the better that you don't win. It's, the investment in is so minuscule compared to your return of what you get back, right? But that's probably the safest way to be in the variable world is dollar cost averaging. If you're trying to time the market, you're a day trader, right? You probably have more lost days than win days. That's by that's not, and I'm not bad mouthing it. I mean, if that's your deal, that's your deal. Go for it. That's my wife and I'll be praying for you. But I believe in taking some calculated risk and knowing how to pay attention to things long term. And last but not least is index, right? So index accounts. I don't know why people think this is a new concept. It's not new at all, right? But there's particular types of accounts, right? First of all, there's index funds, right? But index funds still fall under the variable. Okay, that's the facts, right? Index funds still fall under the variable. So some people are, oh, I'm going to get me an index fund. I ain't never got to worry about losing. Not true, okay? So you still got to pay attention. You still got to. Now, your odds are better because they're tracking, right? But then now there's index accounts, right? So index accounts are there's index insurance, there's index annuities. There's so many different things. And what happens is as the market goes up, right? So that index that it's tracking, whatever it is, the S&P, the Russell 2000, whatever it is. As that index is going up, you get to capture the gains, or let me say it differently. You get to participate in the gains. That's the best way to say that. Participate in those gains. Okay. But when the market goes down, right, or that index has a downtime, you do not participate in the downs. So you lock in and you stay where you were, right? And of course, there has to be a catch to that. And normally they have floors and caps, right? So, you might only be able to earn up to 18% or 15% in any given year in those particular times. But when the market goes down, it does a -20, you didn't lose either, right? So you can't strike out, but you also can't hit no home runs, right? Best you could do is a triple. But those are kind of some options. That's my simplest way of breaking down options for your money. There's thousands of options. And let me say this, Majid, I know you're going to interject real quick because I'm about done anyway. Most people are so focused on products, they don't understand the concept of the plan. Products aren't, don't get me wrong, I market the products. The products are needed, okay? But if you don't have a plan, a solid plan, like do you have a written plan to get where you want to go, whatever that is, whether we're talking about your fitness goals, whether we're talking about your financial goals, your career goals, do you have a written game plan And that's what you need. If you're going to build a dream house, stay with me, everybody. If you're going to build a dream house, you do not start with the foundation. I know we all been taught we start with the foundation. No, you actually start with the plans. You have to go get an architect to draw up the plans for that deal first, right? Then the foundation is poured, right? And a lot of people are building their financial house, if you will, and they're starting with the roof. Let me go get some exchange traded funds. Or I want some Bitcoin. Or let me go. And they don't realize that all these things affect each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's very important that you have a good blueprint first. You got a good plan, right? And then we can figure out what products, i.e., what building materials you need specifically to you. Because everybody's different. You shouldn't do everything. Just because your circle of friends is doing something doesn't necessarily mean you should do it either. I have very close, tight-knit circle of friends. But we're not all trying to go the same place either, though.
Yeah.
We hang out, right? We go on trips together. We do some cool stuff, right? But we're not trying to do the same stuff. Not totally. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Can you say that? I wanted to make sure people got that quote. Most people are so focused on the product that they don't understand. I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Most people are so focused on the products that they don't catch the plan. They don't understand the purpose or the importance of the plan. And the plan is important. Right? It's amazing how many people will plan a vacation, right? And mind you, they'll spend weeks planning this week vacation, right? People will spend months planning a day, which is their wedding, right? Spend months, right? Which is, I think, is another tragedy in our world. Most people pay too much attention to the wedding and they don't plan for the marriage, right? That's another topic. I'll do that another day, right? But it's just the facts. We put way too much energy, right? You'll get upset if I don't show up to your wedding, but you forget I'm going to be there for the marriage, right? It's just how my wife and I think. We might not make it to your wedding, but we promise we'll be here for your marriage, right? When it needs a tune-up. Just who we are, right? But most people won't take 2 hours to plan their financial future. Yeah, we'll spend days to plan a week vacation, months to plan a day. Actually, a wedding isn't even a day. It's like 3 hours. Right? And that's the funny thing to me, too. People will plan a wedding knowing everybody there, a good majority of the people there, are going to be doing nothing but freeloading. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was probably wrong, huh? Right? Was that a man's perspective? Is that just what it is?
It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm just saying. People come to your wedding. They complain about the food. They complain about where you sat them. Right? They trying to take more pictures than you. They freeloading. They ain't pay nothing to come. They gave you a crappy gift. You took months to plan that. Take 2-3 hours and at least an hour every 6 months. Right? I think an hour every month, but at least an hour to 2 hours every 6 months to sit down with a financial professional and make sure you have a good financial plan.
Yeah.
Simple. Not that hard.
That's good, John. No, I have nothing to add behind. I am going to say something that you mentioned about, right? What was that? Anytime someone is giving you something, they're making more than that. And I actually was speaking with a friend of mine a couple of days ago, and I said, you get what you don't pay for, right? We always talk about you get what you pay for, but you also get what you don't pay for, right? So we get free education. You get what you don't pay for, right? You free vaccines, free this, free that. You know, I'm just one of those people who question if somebody's giving me something for free, how valuable is it to them, right? They're giving it away. How valuable is it to them
Yeah,
that
what's their return on this?
yeah, what's the agenda? What's the motive,
Hello.
So
Hello.
just something to consider. I don't want to get off topic. It's Financial Literacy Month. We want to bring you money, but understanding that when we're talking about money, it's not just money that we're talking about. It's really money. It's how you think. When you think differently, you do differently, and you can have different results. And so
you review the world differently when you start viewing your money. It coincides in every area. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I'll put that on a t-shirt. Get what you don't pay for.
That was good.
So yeah, and I think that's important because a lot of times people don't value, sometimes even the work that we do because we give it away for free, right? Or we have complimentary consultations. And to that point, right, like they don't see the value in it. But you say it all the time, people spend where they see value, right? So we'll get iPhone or we'll get Jordans or we'll find the money to do those things. And oftentimes when we're sitting down with a prospective client, it's our job to find the money. And most oftentimes the money is there, right? To do what it is they say they want to do. And it really comes down to a question of what are you willing to do differently, right? What are you willing to sacrifice to get to where it is you say you want to be? And it doesn't even have to seriously be a sacrifice per se. It's just reallocation, right? Moving the money in a different direction so that it works better for you, right? We talked about interest today. Getting your money to work better for you so that you can get the result that you say that it is that you want. And so it's also important, right? I thought about this as well, I think earlier today, the idea that sacrificing having your money today for what it can do for you tomorrow, right? Sometimes we hold on to, I was talking about that earlier, we hold on to what it is that we have when simply by letting it go and getting it to go to work for you, you can actually get a better result long term, right? I'm sacrificing the immediate gratification of having this money and buying something that's not going to make me any money and putting that money somewhere where it can work better for me so that I can have 12% or 36% or 97% type of returns. But it's being able to think beyond today, right? You want to be present and focus on today, but you also want to prepare for tomorrow. And we say all the time, wealthy people anticipate while poor people react.
Yep.
And so we want to get you out of reaction mode and get you to start preparing and anticipating for the things that could and often will happen so that you are prepared for them. So that's all I got, John. Anything else you want to share with our audience before we get out of here?
No, this is good. I'm glad I was able to share some insight, hopefully some knowledge people haven't heard before. But also, if you heard it before, maybe you didn't catch it, you didn't know, maybe I shared it in a different way. I'm just hoping it empowers you, it encourages you, and don't feel free to reach out to us. I know this is live on Facebook, right? So you can reach out to me. I'm sure I'm going to be linked in this, but also you can reach out to me direct message via Instagram, JCFT on Instagram. But hey, we're here to help. But we're only looking for people looking for us.
That's true. That's true. So, real quick, this is Financial Literacy Month. This week we've been talking about interest, right? One of the three parts of the equation for increasing your money. But next 2 weeks, we are going to dive into the enemies of your money. All right. You got to know and recognize your enemies because you can be doing the right things, but if you don't prepare and anticipate for the wrong things, right, those enemies, you really may not get to where it is you may not build the wealth that you want to build. So stay tuned. Make sure that you're tuning in. Share with a friend. Put a reminder on your phone, whatever you need to do to make sure that you get this message next week. And I sincerely appreciate and thank you, John, for taking the time out your busy schedule. I've been doing this for some years now, right? Like I keep hijacking you from your family. Like, hey, John, I need the people to hear and see what I was able to be privy to 12 years ago when I met you. And it's such been a privilege to my life and my family's life. And I feel like more people need to be exposed. So the more people that I can get you in front of, the more people that can hear this message and learn from somebody who's knowledgeable, who's right. Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like that's why I bring him on as the expert, right? He's got 10 to 11 more years than I do in this industry. And so I'm leveraging that because I know that he's going to add more value, and I'm taking notes. I'm learning some things, right, so that I can become even more equipped in my own business. And so I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you, Abby, for me. Thank you. Let her know that we appreciate her letting us have you for a little time each and every week to do this. And I know people will be able to benefit from this, not just today, but for weeks, days, weeks, months, and maybe even years to come. So
yeah, I
thank
hope so.
you so much. Absolutely. So
I hope it
this has been
helps generations. So, and this is my heart desire. So this is fun for me, and of course, it helps that you ask. Unfortunately, if not just anyone could ask me to take time away from my wife and daughter to do this, but I love this stuff anyway, and I love impacting people for it. So.
Don't worry, John. I'll make sure I'm the what do they call it? The guard, right? I'm gonna make sure everybody can't get access to you, right? So look, you can see them, right? If you want to schedule an appointment with them, we can make that happen. But I definitely want to respect your time and show people the value, right? Like that it is in having a professional, having somebody who's objective, right? You're still my advisor to this day. I still go to you to get advice on what I need to do differently in terms of my finances. Because I know I'm still very emotional about my money, right? But I'm aware that I am. So I go to somebody who's not as emotional about it, right? Like they're not emotional about it at all.
Me too.
So this has been Momentum Chat. We appreciate you. This has been Majida Bay, your financial conductor and senior financial broker, Mr. John Epting, with 20 years plus in this industry, signing in. And we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Thank you, everyone.